Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and we're going to discuss the world's worst children's home. I mean, I read this, I couldn't believe it. I actually had to read it twice, and I still couldn't believe it. I'm going to read it again, and you won't believe it. But the manager there, he bought the children a present. Yeah. And another one was very clever and used his initiative and built something. None of this is good. None of this is at all good. It's woeful. I'm doing what Patrick Stewart did in my thumbnail, because you'll be doing that too when you read this. Let's go. Unbelievable. And yes, it's going to say what you think it's about to say. Children's home manager bought a child a tattoo machine, I can't say that word, which they used to give another youngster a permanent inking. And another child threatened staff with an improvised. The manager bought the child a tattoo machine that they used to permanently ink another. In another incident, one created a homemade to threaten staff. The children's home is registered in Leicester, but cannot be identified by name. I bet it could. The firm running it, A&R Guardian Services, did not respond to comment request. Of course they didn't. They're probably hiding from the kids. Honestly, it's like St. Trinian's, isn't it? Or Slytherin. A children's home has been ordered to improve after extraordinary failings. Saw a manager buy a tattoo machine for one child, which they used to permanently ink another, and staff being slow to stop a young resident making a thrower. The centre, which cannot be named, but is registered in Leicester, was today revealed to be the site of a series of worrying incidents. At one point, just 3 months ago, staff were threatened by the child who had made his own weapon to menace them. They had used an aerosol can and a cigarette lighter to fashion a homemade flower. In another troubling incident, the home manager was bought a tattoo machine for one of the children. They then used it to permanently ink another child, despite the fact that both were supposed to be under 2-to-1 supervision. Details of the concerning problems have only been made public after inspectors from Watchdog Ofsted published its findings in a harrowing report. It makes grim reading for the company who runs it, A&R Guardian Services, who did not respond to a request to comment. What the hell is going on in this school? In this children's home? Have they got no adults in the building? Seriously? I mean, what kind of adult goes out and buys a child a tattoo machine? Because you can just guarantee they're going to use it. If not on themselves, on someone else. It is irresistible. Now, some poor kid is going to be going around with a really bad bit of body art for the rest of his life. It's just horrific that this is allowed to happen. I mean, it's kind of funny in a way. I mean, I've got to be honest. It's kind of funny. But you've got to think seriously about these kids. What hope in life do they have when people are doing this to them? And this is really bad leadership. Now, this manager's got to be fired. He's absolutely got to be fired immediately. And probably put on a register. And I'm not saying for one moment anything of that way, but certainly for child endangerment. Come on. Anyway, the Ofsted report said there are serious and widespread failures. Well, no shit, Sherlock. And that meant children and young people are not protected, or their welfare is not promoted or safeguarded. Well, duh. And care and experience of children and young people are poor, and they are not making progress. What the hell do you expect? The home now has to improve in a raft of areas, including that when the needs of children are not met by others, they effectively escalate their concerns. And it's not known how many members of staff work at the home. I'm going to suggest not enough. But 2 children are currently living there. The name of the premises had not been released to protect their identities and locations. Oh, please release it. The report said both children may have emotional and social difficulties. Well, they bloody well will now. It detailed staff are slow to respond to challenging behaviours from children. As a result, children's behaviours can escalate quickly. Children and staff are then placed at increased risk. Well, of course, if you're not looking after the children will look after themselves. If you're not instilling discipline, they will run riot. And that's what's happening here. And I bet you that it's some youngish manager going, "Oh, please, kids, hey, rather than some old school one who's like, let's just say forthright. Got to be careful what you say. But yeah, you can just go. You just know it's some weak-wristed liberal, tree-hugging, sandal-wearing, tofu-eating. Oh, we got to care for the children. One of them. Rather than get in your bedrooms, you wee bastards. One of them. Let me tell you that get in the bedroom, you wee bastards, is the best one. That will instill the fear into children. Anyway, it is kind of funny. But I hope the kids are okay. But I hope they also get moved to somewhere that can actually care for them and look after them, and that everybody concerned gets fired. They absolutely need to be fired for that. You can't have that. That said, you just want to see. It's a shame they didn't put a picture up of the tattoos. I would love to have seen them. That would have been funny. Anyway, I'm going to round off and come up. It's only a little one. And yes, I'm fully aware how serious it is. I am making light of it, but it is very serious. These kids do need to be looked after. They don't need idiot moron supervisory adults handing them things like that. I mean, it is just asking for trouble. I mean, what even goes in your head? I wouldn't give my son felt tips, let alone a tattoo machine. I mean, it's just crazy. But this is what happens when you put these people in charge. The people running these places, they're fairly inadequate themselves. And you put them in charge of vulnerable children, but they are vulnerable children. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, I do hope, as I say, that the kids are okay. The kids are cared for and in a better place, a more secure unit where they can get the care and attention they need. And as I say, I hope these morons running this place are never put in control of anything again. I mean, I wouldn't trust them to make the tea. Anyway, I shall round off there. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you can. We are building the subscriber base, but not quickly enough. Make it louder. And ring the bell for notification of future outputs. Leave a like, leave a comment, and share the video. Until next time, though, stay safe, stay well, keep an eye on those bloody kids, and goodbye.